Marvel's most dangerous villain isn't the one who can level cities or conquer galaxies. It's the one who engineered the Avengers' very existence without them ever knowing it. And he's been 3 moves ahead of Earth's mightiest heroes since day one. At some point during the Avengers' Earth's Mightiest Heroes, you stopped seeing Loki as a villain and started seeing him as the only one in the room who actually understood the board. Not because he wins every fight, he doesn't, but because every single time the Avengers think they have him figured out, he's already 3 moves ahead of where they're looking. He was the reason the Avengers assembled in the first place, the reason Asgard nearly fell, the reason the Enchantress and the Executioner were walking free on Earth doing his bidding, the reason the Norn stones ended up scattered across the globe, and 9 separate catastrophes triggered simultaneously. Every escalation in that show traces back to Loki in some way, and the Avengers still don't fully know it. That is the Loki problem. Before the Avengers existed as a team, Loki had already been moving pieces on the board for years. The Masters of Evil weren't Baron Zemo's idea. The Norn Stone crisis that split the team across the globe wasn't a coincidence. The breakout, the simultaneous prison escapes from the vault, the cube, the big house, and the raft. The event that forced the Avengers to form in the first place, that was Loki. He engineered their origin. Think about that for a second. The Avengers only exist because Loki decided it was useful for them to exist. He needed chaos. He needed Earth's heroes distracted. He needed the pieces in motion before anyone looked up and saw the hand moving them. The Avengers understood something about Loki that a lot of people miss when they first watch it. He isn't interested in punching Iron Man through a wall. He's interested in what happens after Iron Man is too exhausted to notice the real threat. Physical confrontation is the consolation prize. The actual move was always somewhere else. By the time the Avengers realized who had orchestrated the breakout, Loki had already moved on to the next phase. That's not a villain, that's an architect. To understand how dangerous Loki actually is, you have to go back to Asgard. Not the Golden Halls version people picture, the real version, the one with the prophecy that Loki spends the entire series trying to either fulfill or rewrite, depending on which version serves him better in the moment. Loki grew up in Odin's shadow and Thor's. For all of Asgard's talk of honor and glory, Loki was always the one who had to be smarter because he couldn't win any other way. Thor had the hammer, Balder had the love of all Asgard, Loki had his mind, and he never stopped sharpening it. In Earth's Mightiest Heroes, the tension between Loki and Asgard isn't just sibling rivalry, it runs deeper. Loki genuinely believes he was meant for something greater than what Odin ever allowed him to become. Whether that belief is justified is almost beside the point. The belief itself is what makes him so relentless. He was banished. He came back. He was imprisoned. He escaped. He was outmaneuvered. He adapted. There is no version of a defeat that actually defeats Loki in this series. Every loss gets absorbed, studied, and turned into the next plan. After engineering the breakout and watching the Avengers scramble to clean up his mess, Loki didn't sit still. He deployed the Enchantress and the Executioner on Earth as his personal strike team. The Enchantress, Amora, might be the most dangerous non-Loki operator in the series. Her magic is precise, her manipulation is surgical, and she has exactly 0 limitations when it comes to collateral damage. Loki used her the way a general uses special forces: surgical, deniable, effective. The Executioner was muscle, but Amora was strategy. Together they did what Loki needed, created pressure, chaos, and distraction at the street level while he operated at the cosmic one. The Avengers fought them. They won those fights, and they walked away thinking they disrupted Loki's operation. What they didn't know was that stopping Amora and the Executioner was built into the plan. It didn't matter if the Avengers won those encounters. The point was never the Enchantress. The point was what Loki was doing while the Avengers were focused on her. This is the thing about how Earth's Mightiest Heroes writes Loki that makes him genuinely fascinating to watch. He's always operating on multiple layers simultaneously. The fight you're watching is rarely the fight that matters. If the breakout was Loki's opening move and the Enchantress was his mid-game, the Norn stones were his masterpiece. 9 ancient stones, 9 different locations across the planet, 9 separate crises erupting simultaneously. Magical catastrophes that pulled the Avengers apart and sent them, paired off and isolated, to opposite ends of the world. Wakanda, the Skrull homeworld, a realm overrun by frost giants, weapon-enchanted ancient cities. Individually, those crises would have been serious. Together, for a team that had just started learning to work together, it was designed to break them. For a while, it worked. The genius of the Nornstone arc isn't the scale of it, it's how precisely it exploited the Avengers' actual weakness at that point in the series. The fact that they hadn't fully become a team yet. They were still a collection of individual heroes who happened to share a building. Loki saw that before they did, and he built a weapon around it. By the time they reassembled and figured out who had set it up, the Asgard play was already in motion. That's the Loki problem in its purest form. He doesn't just attack your strength. He identifies the gap between what you are and what you think you are, and he builds his plan inside that gap. Everything Loki did on Earth was infrastructure. The real target was always Asgard. Odin entered the Odin sleep. The moment Odin was vulnerable, Loki made his move. He seized the throne. He had been building toward this across multiple seasons of scheming. Every distraction he'd created on Earth, every alliance he'd forged and burned, every piece he'd moved. It was all in service of this. He got it. For a moment in Earth's Mightiest Heroes, Loki actually wins, sits on the throne, holds power over the 9 realms. The Avengers are across the cosmos. Asgard is his. This is what the series does so well. It doesn't just use Loki as the villain who keeps failing and coming back for another round. It gives him a genuine payoff on his long con. He earns the win. And the fact that he eventually loses it doesn't diminish what he built to get there. It actually makes the character more interesting, because it raises the question that the rest of the series can't fully answer. If Loki can do all of that once, what stops him from doing it again? Here's the thing about Earth's Mightiest Heroes that even fans of the show sometimes understate. Loki's machinations didn't happen in a vacuum. They happened while the Skrull invasion was already in progress, while the Kree were a threat, while Galactus was incoming. The Avengers were fighting a war on multiple fronts simultaneously, and Loki had been one of those fronts from the very beginning, moving beneath the others, funding the chaos that let the bigger threats gain traction. He isn't just an Asgard problem, he's an Earth problem. He's a 9 realms problem. In Earth's Mightiest Heroes, by the time you fully understand the scope of what Loki has been doing, it recontextualizes almost every crisis in the series. How many of those fires started because Loki needed something to burn? The Avengers won the Skrull War. They stopped Galactus. They defeated Loki. But the honest answer to who destabilized the Marvel animated universe enough for all of those threats to land simultaneously is Loki before anyone else. That's the problem the Avengers can never quite solve, because solving it would require going back and unbuilding every piece of chaos he installed before they were even watching. Earth's Mightiest Heroes has a brilliant rogues gallery: Hydra, AIM, the Masters of Evil, the Skrulls, Ultron, arguably the most dangerous villain in the entire series, Galactus. Every one of them operates at full power in a straight line. Maximum force, maximum threat, maximum confrontation. Loki doesn't work that way. Ultron can destroy cities. Loki can make you destroy your own. The Masters of Evil are powerful enough to take the mansion and capture 6 Avengers simultaneously. Loki never needs to take anything by force when he can get someone else to do it, preferably without knowing they're doing it for him. His power isn't his sorcery, though that's formidable. His power is that he is the only villain in Earth's Mightiest Heroes who genuinely understands all the other players better than they understand themselves. He knows Thor's blind spots. He knows Odin's vulnerabilities. He knows how the Avengers will react to a crisis because he designed the crisis. In a show full of physically unstoppable threats, Loki is the one the Avengers can never fully neutralize, because you can't punch a plan. You can't outmuscle foresight. You can only hope you see it coming in time. They rarely do. By the time Earth's Mightiest Heroes ends its run, Loki has been imprisoned, escaped, defeated, triumphant, banished, and returned more times than any other antagonist in the series. And every single time he comes back with better information. Every loss taught him something. Every defeat updated his model of the Avengers, of Asgard, of the cosmos. There's a reason that when Marvel built its entire animated universe off the foundation of Earth's Mightiest Heroes, Loki was treated as the first and most important chess piece. He was the original problem, the one the universe had to build around rather than simply solve. He is, across every Marvel animated project from Earth's Mightiest Heroes to Avengers Assemble, to his own Loki animated presence, the most consistently underestimated, consistently dangerous, and consistently fascinating presence in Marvel animation. Every Avenger has beaten him at least once. None of them have ever truly stopped him. That's not a villain who keeps losing. That's a problem that never gets solved. And the Marvel animated universe has never fully reckoned with that. Every time the Avengers think Loki is finished, the board resets and Loki is already playing again. That is the Loki problem. And right now, in every version of Marvel animation that exists, the Avengers still don't have an answer for it. And which animated villain do you think actually gives him a real challenge? Drop your answer in the comments and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the video.